Be right back. Phil Collins coming up right after this. We're always happy to have my next guest here. He is a 7-time Grammy winner, one of the most respected musicians in pop music. His latest CD is called, here it is right here, Both Sides. Before he does a song, I thought, have the man come out, talk to him. Very interesting man. He looks good. He's slim. He's trim. He's fighting weight. Phil Collins, ladies and gentlemen. Good to see you again.
Nice to see you too, Jay.
Were you talking, have you met Nick before?
I have met Nick before, yeah. I didn't see him this time because he's gone, but I met him backstage at a gig, actually. I was a big fan, and he came to a party backstage after a show in New York, and I said, hi, I'm Phil, I'm really pleased to meet you, but I can't talk because of my voice, and we spent the rest of the night in silence. So I've apologised since.
So you just sat and stared at
Well,
him?
no, yeah, it was a bit like that. He felt a bit awkward, I think, and understandably.
Oh, yeah. Guy says, I'm sick, and then he continues to sit there for 2 more hours.
Yeah.
we were talking about bad... Now, you probably haven't... Did you get any early on?
Bad reviews? You look in the dictionary under bad reviews, you've got a picture of me.
Oh, no.
No, it's true. It's actually quite well known, I think, that I usually... Oh, the critics hate me. And in this town, in fact, I've always had bad reviews. The LA Times gave me a great review this time.
Yeah, I saw that. It's a beautiful, wonderful, yes.
So I'm thinking of retiring now.
Have you ever called the critic?
Yes, I have. I write to them, I call them. In Indianapolis, we had a terrible review on the Genesis tour. I mean, it's bad reviews and there's bad reviews. I mean, this was a really vicious. So I called the guy up and said, explain why, because there's 30,000 people that really enjoyed it. Why, and we argued for a little while, and then I write to these guys, and they write back to me. Sometimes they apologise, sometimes they don't, It just gets it off my chest.
Yeah, well, that's good. That's good. I called one last week. It wasn't a bad review, but they said Leno walked in with his beautiful blonde wife. I don't have a blonde wife. I said, that's all I need. My wife looking at the paper, where am I,
Exactly.
And I called this person. I said, I don't have a blonde wife. And they said, well, there's a blonde standing next door. I said, no, there wasn't. I came in by myself. He just assumed there was someone standing there, and he wrote this thing about it. I'm just waiting for my wife to go, oh.
And they write that you're at parties and things like that you've never been to. Right. So they say, I see, that's where you were, was it?
But you got a good review from the Queen. Didn't you get honored or something? I don't understand how the English honor thing...
Well, I don't really understand it either. I mean, I got a month... Her birthday's in June, the Queen's birthday.
Right.
And a month before that, I got a letter in the mail saying that I had been honoured, or was going to be honoured, as I was going to be made a lieutenant of the Royal Victorian Order, which I'd never heard of. And I'd heard of the MBE and the OBE and the knighthood and things like that.
Right. So,
and then, of course, I'm not supposed to say anything about it until it's released, which was June. And then they asked me for my reaction, the press, and I said, well, I get everybody to call me sir, and made fun of it. And then, eventually I found out that it's actually quite a big deal. It's her personal honour and for, I guess, the charity stuff. I don't quite know why.
Do you get like a discount on items at the Price Club or anything?
Exactly.
I mean, how does it differ?
Well, I don't know what it... I haven't got it yet, you see.
Oh, I see.
So it's a badge, little medal thing.
Oh, so actually
it's something,
it's a
yes.
badge?
I'm now Phil Collins LVO.
LVO?
Yes, you don't have to kneel later.
Oh, I see. Well, that's pretty good. I've got the BVD. I have the BVD. Jay Leno BVD. Now, did you meet the Queen? Well, I assume you probably have met the Queen.
I've met her once. I'm kind of involved with the Prince's Trust, right? So I've been involved with Prince Charles for quite a few years. And so he asked me to play at his birthday party. In fact, he asked me to organise the entertainment at his birthday party. So I booked a band. And I played.
This sounds funny. It sounds like
I know.
Booked a band like in the garage. You're gonna play.
We were sitting at Wembley Stadium watching Michael Jackson. He was on tour, and it was a Prince's Trust duo. And he turned back to me and he said, "I'd like a band like this at my party." That's Michael Jackson, So I said, well, I don't think we can get Michael Jackson. But I'll have a look, So I started listening to tapes like an agent would, listening to tapes. No, yes. And the band I booked were actually the same band that played at his 21st birthday party. Funnily enough, I didn't know that. And it was his 40th birthday party. So they've been going around a long time. Anyway, I played as well.
A long time between gigs. Yeah. Was that the Dave Clark 5?
They rehearsed for, it must have been a couple of days before the show. But Anyway, so she was there. I mean, all the family were there. You know, it was a big do at Buckingham Palace, and it was like very strange. Just you sitting down and playing, and everywhere you looked was someone whose portrait you'd just seen, you know, somewhere. So anyway, so I went up to her and introduced myself because. And you're not supposed to do that, really. But
you're not supposed to introduce yourself to the Queen?
Not really. You're supposed to wait to be approached. But I just sort of went up there and said, hello, Your Highness, which is wrong. You're supposed to call her Your Majesty. I mean, it's all this, like, you know, things you're supposed to do, you know. Oh, great one, you know. And I just said hello, you know, and she said, oh, yes, you're my son's friend. You're the entertainment, you know. And that was it, really. That's
Please use the service entrance.
That was the only time I've ever met her, and then she remembers me and gives me this thing, which is fabulous.
But do they tap their when the music is playing? I mean, does the Queen? Woo! Ow! I mean, do they? I mean, does she? Do you see her foot tapping or anything, or do they just sort of?
I did actually later on during the course of the evening. I saw her jive. Jiving. The band were playing Rock Around the Clock, and she was jiving with somebody. Wow. Which was great. You know, I mean, I kind of thought, this is it. I've seen everything.
Oh, yeah, that's
if I die now, I've seen everything.
There you go. That's good. When we come back, you'll do a song, eh?
No.
No?
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah.
We'll be right back, right after this. Hey, will you sign on? Ladies and gentlemen, performing one of his classic songs, Always, Phil Collins.
Dreams will all come true, being here with you, and time will fly, carrying each day more than the day before, till spring rolls by. When the springtime has gone, will my love linger on? I'll be loving you with a love that's true, always. When the things you plan need a helping hand, I will understand. Days may not be fair, always. That's when I'll be there, always. Not for just an hour, no, no, not for just a year. Not for just a year, but always. Days may not be fair, always. That's when I'll be there, always. Not for just an hour, no, no, not for just a day, not for just a year, but always. Until forever is through. Until it's just me and you.
My guest, Nicolas Cage. The movie is It Could Happen to You. And, of course, Phil Collins will be at the Irvine Meadows tomorrow. This is the CD here, both sides. You going to give me a little Amazing Grace?
I'm going to try.
You going to try? Yeah. Phil Collins, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Phil. Hey, folks, see you tomorrow night. Thanks for watching. That was great.